Hello.
Yes. Hey, how are you doing?
Hi. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
I'm
Awesome.
in the. I'm actually walking in Geneva, right in front of the lake. So I guess we can start it live. Are we live now?
Yeah, we're live now. We're rocking.
Okay. I'm going to the Lake of Geneva, but in between, maybe I can tell you more about me and what I do.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
just start off. Tell me a little bit about yourself and the project.
okay. So I'm Thierry Harris. I'm the founder and managing director of Tarco International. Tarco International is a company based in Zug, in the Crypto Valley now. Previously, Zug, Switzerland was the most favorable canton for tax reasons and also for commodity trading. There's a lot of commodity traders there. My background is commodity trading. Uh, I used to trade gold, silver, and copper concentrates with Trafigura, one of the biggest players in commodity trading. And then I switched to another product, oil, on the risk management side, and on the oil market with the Russian oil company Litasco Lukoil as an external consultant. So that's pretty much my background, finance and commodity trading mostly. And well, from there, I decided to go on my own. And our flagship project today is AgAu, AGAU, agau.io. It's basically two stable tokens, one backed by gold and one backed by silver. So what I'm trying to create here is really kind of a Bretton Woods system, um, but a digital one. And so that's the idea of it. Some people say it could be comparable to a Bitcoin backed by gold, but that is more energy efficient because it's an ERC20 token. And so the idea of this is to push about December or January 500 million Swiss francs worth of gold and tokenize it. So it's actually not an ICO, but it's a TGE, so a token generation event.
Yeah.
Because what we do is we take existing gold and we essentially tokenize it. We structure this as a security token, so as an asset token, sorry, because
Yeah.
it's an asset. And it's the best for regulation purposes and in order for institutional investors to actually, well, use our products. We aim to target different markets. One is the institutional investor. The other one is the emerging market who have fiat that is not very stable. And ultimately also the crypto investor who is seeing volatile paper wealth in a way so that they can stabilize it.
Okay. So the main question I have is,
Yeah.
when someone says, because there's so many tokens out there that I've done the
Right.
research that are backed by gold. The
Yes.
question is, I guess, can you prove that you actually own $500 million worth of gold, or is that the case, 1-to-1 ratio, everything?
Right. So that's a very good question. The way we proceed is that one token is 1 gram. So there is no bonus or anything as such because we're talking about real gold here.
Well, how much is 1 gram of gold in US dollars?
Around about $40, something like that. But now the price of gold in the market is usually per ounce on the financial market. 1 ounce is about 31 grams, something like that. So the ounce is about $1,200, but the 1 gram is about 40 francs or 30 something dollars, close to that.
So if 1 gram is $40 and one
Yep.
token is 1 gram, then
Yes.
we got 500 million times 40, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, you can no, it's 500 million francs worth of tokens. So it's the other way around. You have to do
Oh, I thought you
500
said 1
million.
gram. I thought you said one token is 1 gram.
One token is 1 gram, and we are tokenizing 500 million francs worth of tokens.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay,
right.
So
that's the goal for the first batch. Of course, the idea behind it is to do several batches, and so to answer your first question is how do we prove we have the assets, because that's very important, right? Essentially what we do is we work with 3 ledgers. One ledger is an ERC20 token. One ledger is basically an audit ledger that essentially we publish the audit on the public blockchain so that everyone can see how much gold we have. So there's the audit, the assay card, the serial number of the kilobar, and that's one ledger. The other ledger is the ERC20 token, and the central ledger is basically the ledger comparing the two, meaning proving that 1 token equals 1 gram and 1,000 grams equals 1 kilobar, and therefore here we have it, and we prove the ownership on the other ledger. The central ledger is actually a special purpose vehicle, so that means it's a fungible token. That means that once you collect, let's say 1,000 tokens, or if you have 1,000 tokens, you can redeem it for a kilobar for transparency's sake, and in order for us to also prove that we have them. And so we do a quarterly audit. The other thing we offer is that if you want to pay for an extra audit besides the quarterly audit, you can do it, provided you pay for it. So that's a big difference with the ETF. And also the last thing is that once you redeem, if you were to redeem, you can basically pick the kilobar you want, because we say we have it, so it doesn't matter which one you want to redeem. And in that case, what we would do is we would take 1,000 tokens, we would burn them, and we would release the asset out of the pool, and so be it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So just going back to my question, 1 gram is equal to 1 token, right?
1 gram, 1 AgAu gold is equal 1 gram of gold, and 1 AgAu silver is equal to 1 gram of silver. Yes.
Okay. If 1 gram is $40, then you have 500 million tokens. You got to multiply it by $40.
No, like I said, it's the opposite. It's 500 million worth of tokens, so 500 million francs divided by 40, and you will see the number of tokens on the first batch.
Okay, so I thought you're doing 500 million tokens, no?
No, it's 500 million francs worth of tokens.
Okay, so what is the amount of tokens
that I'm going to issue ultimately?
Yeah.
That will be determined by the limitation of how many gold I can tokenize. So I cannot issue a token without having the backing.
That's the question. So how much gold can you possibly own and issue tokens on?
On the first batch, 500 million is very feasible. It's a drop in the bucket in the gold market. I mean, the gold market is huge. Only to give you an idea, the ETF GLD fund is 36 billion. So we have room for that. And when it comes to warehouse and vaults, Switzerland is the place to be. So because usually when the gold market trades gold, they trade it on the paper market. There is no physical settlement per se. So we're working with the biggest vaults in the planet, and we already have closed some partnerships with a vault in Liechtenstein, who has a room in Liechtenstein and also in Switzerland. And
so are you going to give? I mean, you as a company don't physically have the gold, so you're working with the vaults, but are you going to issue them the tokens because they own the gold, since the company doesn't own the gold?
Right, that's a good question, because essentially what I'm doing is I'm Uberizing the vault. I am not a vault. I'm Uberizing the vault, and I'm Uberizing the banks. I'm not a bank either, but I'm using banks. So I am just a service provider. And so one of the other questions that I get is like, well, what's the counterparty risk? Well, there's no counterparty risk with me, because the way I set up the system is that the token holder has a direct relationship with the vault. I am not an intermediary in this sense. So I'm decentralized, if you want. So when you have a token, you have the central ledger actually does the legally binding ownership of the gold in the vault. It's segregated and it's allocated. So what it means is that it's allocated, meaning the gold is there and you cannot swap it, you cannot lease it, you cannot build some derivatives on top. So it's 1-to-1 also, and it's segregated, meaning that we know which bars actually belong to the pool. And so in that sense, you as a token holder have a direct relationship with the vault.
Gotcha. So would you say that the price of the token is going to be directly correlated to the price of gold?
So that's another good question,
one
because
level, like what would be sorry to interrupt. Like what would be my incentive to like invest? I would have to hope that gold goes up as well. If gold goes down, the token goes down, vice versa, right?
Right. So that's two questions. The first one is it pegged 1-to-1 to the price? And the answer to this is it should be, in the sense that 1 token equals 1 gram. So it should be. Any discrepancy on the price, be it because the token is below the net asset value or above the net asset value, that would open for arbitrage opportunities, meaning you could buy one and sell the other and make the difference in between. Normally in an efficient market, you wouldn't see that, but because there might be a difference on the float and the liquidity of the token, it could be that the token goes a little bit above because there is not a lot of tokenized gold. But that would be sorted out with liquidity providers, exchanges, and ourselves. In the case of the token price being below the net asset value, that's very easy, because essentially the vault would be buying its own gold at discount and then selling it at the market. So that in that sense, we would intervene and make up for the difference. In the case of the token being higher than the net asset value, that would only need that there is an increased demand compared to the supply. And in that sense, we would either do another round of ICO closer to par value in order to issue more tokens on the market. And that would essentially solve, or we will let it to the arbitrageurs do it. So that's for the first question. The second question is, what is the return on the investment of the token in and out of itself? The token is not meant to do 10x or something like that. The token is meant to be a stable token.
Good answer.
So right. So in this sense, it will follow the price of gold. But what's in it for the traditional investor? Well, one is that because we're pooling 500 million, you have a storage fee to pay for the fact that it's allocated. And maybe if you have 5 million or 100 million, you would pay a storage fee of 1%. Well, with us, because we do the scale, you now only pay 0.2% on the storage fee. And then the other thing is gold in and out of itself is quite stable as money, if you want to consider it as money, compared to the other FX over the long term. So if you take the FX movement, even for the Swiss franc in 2015, where there was a 15% upside, gold is relatively stable, at least a lot more than other fiat currencies over a period of more than 50 years. You can definitely prove that on the internet. It's easy to prove.
Hold on one second.
So I see that other people are watching, so I'm just saying hello. So I try to get some nice view for you guys. Look, we're in Geneva here with the difference of time.
I'm going to try to share this on Facebook while we're still at it.
Cool stuff.
So my question was, how do people make money with your company?
With me? With the company. Okay. Okay, so I'm selling 30% of convertible notes or equity, depending on who I'm speaking to, and that's for so it's 15% of 30% of equity for 1.5 million. Okay, so that gives you a valuation of about 5 million, right? Okay. on a 100%. How do I justify that? Well, basically, our revenue model comes from 3 major streams. But I would say the first one is that we charge a 2% premium over the price of gold, meaning that for the ICO on the retail side, anyone that gives me $1, 98 cents on the dollar go to the purchase of gold. 2% or 2 cents is for me to develop the ecosystem. The second thing is that the smart contract has embedded two major capabilities. The first one is the storage fee, for which I try to keep it as low as possible. So this is 0.2% divided by 365, so that every day there's a bit of the token that is being used to pay for the storage here in Switzerland, and that I don't get money off of this. I try to keep it as lean as possible. The second thing the smart contract has is a 0.1% transaction fee. So if you're a buy and hold and you just want to hold the gold and appreciate it, you don't need to pay a transaction fee because you're not transacting. But if you're paying for your coffee with the AgAu gold token, for example, well, you would pay a 0.1% transaction fee. So you can think of it as a VAT, but it's better than a VAT because it's a lot lower. And that's where I get my revenue from. So all in all together, that gives me for 500 million Swiss francs worth of gold tokenized, a 2% premium of about 10 million. And all in all, with all revenues accounted on a conservative basis, it's about a top line of 11 million and a bottom line of about 4 million. So if we get an EBIT already in an expectant, we expect this to get over the next 9 months, you basically get already almost your market cap of revenues, and then we'll be completely independent. We wouldn't need any more money. So no dilution there, no other round of investment, except for the fact if some people want to value the company a little higher and appreciate it. So that's basically what we're looking at.
Okay, definitely. You're definitely a lot smarter than the other people in companies I've talked to that stay their back.
Well, I'm a Mensa member. That I don't want to brag but every time people tell me I'm smart, I say, well, I got a license to prove it. It's a Mensa member ID, but honestly, IQ is overrated anyway. So I don't like to talk about that.
Yeah, I just gotta give you that one because like I've been pitched the back by gold and I ask the questions, they have no idea what you're talking about. So,
well, I will tell you what the difference and the unique selling points
so
for me.
Tell me about your competitors and why they're gonna fail.
Right. I will not tell you about my competitors because I know them and I'm not going to give them publicity. But what I will tell you is that I come from the commodity trading background, so I know my shit. I know what I'm talking about. I know gold and silver. I do this as a living. Okay. I come from the institutional world and I became a hold on. Okay. Is it okay? So I came from the institutional world and I became a crypto punk. I'm not a crypto punk who tries to do with what he has. Two, and that's very important. That's the second point, and perhaps sometimes the first point is, it's almost like don't believe me, believe the partners I will partner up with, because precisely we have PwC legal on the Switzerland on the legal side. We're partnering up with a bank in Liechtenstein that we'll announce next month. Family offices, funds, and also next month you will see some interesting board member coming in. That we're working on. And essentially the unique selling proposition for us is that we are experienced, we are in Switzerland, we are regulated, we have institutional backing, and we do things properly. We might take a little bit more time than our competitors, but ours will be the one that will succeed. And like I always say, is like, it doesn't matter if you're Alta Vista or Yahoo. Google came after, but at least they did something better than the others, and that's what we intend to do.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think. I was on the plane to San Francisco the other day, and this lady next to me pitched. She was Jamaican. She pitched me a back by gold coin, and I can't remember it. And I went to the website, and it was the worst video sales letter I've ever seen in my life.
Look, there is 3 cases. There is one who are flat out scams. So let's forget about them, okay? There's the other one who backed the token only partially by gold. And in that sense, there is no value in it because then in this case, you're much better off just buying the gold and put all of your money in it, right? Because you're basically having a huge premium on the gold that you're buying. So that is useless. And the other ones who are closer to my business model, they usually are inexperienced people and they don't know what they're talking about.
Gotcha. Okay, so the everyday average person out there that's watching this, what would you say would be a reason for them to buy the tokens?
Okay, so for the retail investor, I would say this. Before, only institutional investors and family office, I'm talking about the 1% of the 1% here in terms of family office, could access to private vaults in Switzerland for a price so that they have the physical storage of the gold. Now, I am pooling all of these. They get money because they have a lower storage cost, but the retail investor can now step in, have the same level of service, and be anywhere in the world, transact their token in a liquid form. And so it has those two factors. One is the level of security that previously the retail investor couldn't have. So in that sense, I'm democratizing that family office service. And the second one is if you want to go back to real money and basically a Bretton Woods system, I'm not reinventing the wheel here. The reason we were using paper to and backed by gold before is because you're better off with paper denominations. The difference now is it's the same, but it's digital. And the other big difference is it's transparent. So we use the blockchain technology to not only build the trust that we have the gold, but we prove it to you by many ways that we can with the system, with the audits, and by the fact that if you want your gold back, because at some point you don't trust us anymore, then you don't need to trust me because you're trusting directly the vote. You can go and pick it up. We can send it to you as well. We believe Switzerland is the best jurisdiction to be in. I would also say that if you know the gold market, you know that you don't back in because you would have to test it again. Our gold is LBMA approved, so we only deal with 99.9994449%. So it's financial market quality gold. It's real gold.
Gotcha.
Whereas the coins and bars that you could have in your house, you would have to test them to know exactly what's the content.
Would you guys have how to spend it for the retail investor on their phone or card, be able to spend it retail-wise?
So that's a very good point, because one intermediary step that we're planning on is a credit card in which you would be using that token. It's a bit rudimentary because when you actually think of it, you're much better off going wallet to wallet because you don't need to pay the credit card fee. But if you want to do the credit card fee, we'll offer that for the people to adapt a little bit to this new world. But again, it's better to do it because it's an ERC20 token wallet to wallet. And then the other thing is we're precisely speaking to companies the like of Revolut so that they can list with their open API the token and our services as well.
Awesome. How do you, what is your advertising model to get mass adoption for this?
Okay, so that's another good question. One of the reasons I'm raising funds is not only to finish the system, but also to, I already have a demo, by the way. So the ERC20 token and the marketplace is ready, but it's still on the test. What we want to do is increase the security and do the marketing. So that's the link with your question. So do marketing, but most of the mass adoption crypto, because we're partnering up with the biggest exchanges who will provide the liquidity, and essentially what they will do is they will say, look, there's this huge market cap coin, they will be building the liquidity, they will list it in their exchange, and they will say, well, therefore, look, announcement, you can now buy this new stable coin that is the better version of Tether. And why is it a better version of Tether? Is because it's gold, so it's not US dollar. That means that we're outside of the government control, and that's very important. Again, as a commodity trader, it was a very well-known trick in 2012 to work with Iraq and buy Iraqi oil with gold instead of US dollars, because if there is an embargo, you can get a subpoena and so on and so forth. By the way, the guys from Tether, I'm sure they're going to get subpoenaed at some point. And if they don't, at any arbitrary point in time, the government can say, I don't like your business. I control the legal tender of US dollar, and therefore I want to shut you down. They cannot do that with me.
So guys, to everyone out there, this is not one of those coins that's going to fluctuate big. It's not going to be 10x like you said earlier. It's going to be a stable coin.
Exactly. If you're looking forward to become rich, then buy the next hype. Okay?
Yeah.
But if you want to stabilize that wealth, because that is now that you want to stabilize in your portfolio and have real wealth, then I'm useful. If you also use it as a means of payment, basically, I will pay you tomorrow, but you know that tomorrow my coin is not going to fluctuate 20%. So
yeah,
then that's also a good use case.
That's good. I like that.
Yep.
So the way the company is going to make money is just on the small storage fees and transaction fees, right?
So the storage fee, we don't make money, but we charge because we are just passing it on directly to the vault.
Gotcha.
The transaction fee is true. And for the ICO, we have a small premium on the issuance, which is 2%.
Gotcha. Okay, and then the market cap when you go live is going to be 500 divided by 40, I guess.
So the market cap, the way we achieve that is by actually most of it is not retail investors buying into the ICO, but it's rather institutional investors tokenizing the gold that they already have in possession.
Gotcha. So it could fluctuate. I mean, you're seeking anywhere from to go live at about 5 to 12 million.
So say again?
You're starting. You're asking 30% for 1.5 million. So that's.
Yes, that is for the company. That is not for the tokens.
But the token will actually be very similar to what's getting tokenized of gold, right? So you're going to launch.
So when you buy the token, what you're buying is gold. What I'm talking to you about is investors who could potentially watch the show is shares of the company that will operate this business.
Gotcha.
And that company is expected to break even within the next 9 months.
Okay. Alrighty. To everybody out there, do you have any final thoughts? Closing statements?
Second?
Do you have any final thoughts or closing statements you want to share to the world?
Closing statements is if you come from the crypto world, you need to do your due diligence, because a lot of people have paid the price of not doing so. If you come from the investor world, you will do your due diligence, and I hope that you will get to the conclusion that I'm the best position to work as a professional with institutional backing, and I'm more than happy to collaborate with serious people in order to make the best service possible. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing this project evolve, and we'll conversate outside of here, see if there's any synergies. But thank you for your time and pitching, and thank you, Pitch Investors Live. It was a good pitch.
Great.
Thank you.
So the closing statement would also be that I love the concept of Pitch Investors Live. I like the show. I like the opportunity, and I think that what you do there is really amazing, because in any event you put out there people and entrepreneurs who really want to do something. So I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. This it's a good way to get your business out there. It'll be live and be reshared on Facebook and be on YouTube. So definitely, it's you're very knowledgeable, and I definitely came into this not thinking that you're gonna be this knowledgeable about the subject, because I've talked to a couple of people and a couple of projects with the gold projects, and they just nowhere near as smart as your commodities trader. So you definitely do well.
Thank you very much. See you.
All right, thank you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.